Hello from Trend Signal for our review of the data and events of the week beginning the 24th of April. We wake up on Monday morning to the news regarding the French presidential election. Round one, surprisingly, the voting went according to the polls. So Mr. Macron, from his own party that he set up, well, relatively recently, En Marche, gaining the biggest share of the votes. An extraordinary vote, though, in some ways, as the old political order has effectively crumbled, as expected by the pollsters. The left and centrist right parties failing really to stir the electorate in any way, really. Marine Le Pen of Front National, the far-right party, came in second, as predicted. Therefore, she goes into the second round vote-off on May the 7th. So 2 weeks more of electioneering in France to see who becomes the next French president. And as I just said, Macron has really come from nowhere since last November when he set his party up. Now on the cusp of becoming president at the age of 39. The market reaction is curious. A big risk-on move Monday morning in reaction to the overnight results. Risk-on, I mean equities sharply higher, bonds lower, as you'd expect, the dollar lower, and notably the euro higher, as one good example of the sort of move we're seeing. Here we've got the CAC 40, the main index in France. You can see here from this chart, the market was at one stage 4% up on first thing, slipped a little bit, but the market seems to be discounting almost completely a Macron victory on May the 7th. In fact, a Snap poll by Ipsos on Sunday evening showed 62% support for Macron and just 38% for Le Pen as a likely result on May the 7th. I think it is more complicated than that. Just put that chart away. Let's go to Financial Times headline. You can see all the news on the BBC website as well. Polls and history suggests that most voters will rally behind Macron, and that typically happens, and it's happened before, to keep Le Pen and Front National out of power. But I think the scale of vote is the interesting issue. I think if Le Pen does get more than 40% in the runoff, then I think this could prove more difficult for Macron, who is an avowed European federalist. So I think that the risk now is that the markets discount completely the May 7th result without really considering the implications of a strong showing for Front National. Time will tell, as they say. Let's have a look at the calendar this week. The main events, well, we've already had the German IFO Business Climate, that large survey of manufacturers and retailers, stronger than expected, but in the context of what's happening with the French presidential election, that's not having any perceivable effect on the markets. Tuesday, we have the consumer confidence from the Conference Board. A slight dip in confidence there, but still in a very strong uptrend, US consumer confidence. We then jump to Wednesday for the weekly crude oil inventories. Last week, crude fell sharply as the number of new rigs operating in the US shale oil belt increased again significantly, putting pressure on the markets, there's an increase, upward pressure on crude oil inventories, and that eventually told as the oil market fell $3.8 last week, was at 6.5%. So a sharp move in crude oil last week, and it will be testing the resolve of OPEC in the coming weeks as they look to renew their production cuts. We then have Thursday. We have two central banks, the Bank of Japan, very sensitive to the strength or weakness, or more importantly, the strength in the Japanese yen, so unlikely to be doing anything this week. Same as the European Central Bank, despite that the European markets seem to be discounting the French presidential election on the 7th of May. There is uncertainty, and the ECB will definitely, if they have any mind to tweak monetary policy, they certainly won't be doing it this week. At least that's the market's view. So all unchanged. Any announcement will happen at 1:45 on Thursday, and then the press conference, which is the more interesting element to it, at 1:30, where we'll get a few idea on the thoughts of the committee and Mario Draghi. Friday sees the first reading of Q1 GDP, the gross domestic product, the value of all goods and services produced by certainly for the UK and the US. So that's Q1, Jan, Feb, March. 0.4%. Well, the sort of consensus is ranged between 0.4% 0.5% for the UK. US 1.3%. So quite a bit stronger than the UK for now, anyway. Possible that the sudden jump in sterling may have an effect, obviously, in the weeks to come, but that is a result of the announcement of the UK general election last week, which I guess increases the chance of a slightly softer Brexit being negotiated. At least that's the perceived wisdom. On top of all of this, we've got US earnings season, so some notable names this week. Tuesday we've got AT&T, Wednesday we've got Boeing. Big day, though, Thursday. It seems like Thursday is the important day this week, certainly with other data elements, as you can see from the screen. We've got Amazon and Google, the two tech titans, as they are referred to sometimes. Their results come out on Thursday. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. Bye for now.
If you would like more information about trading the right way, Trend Signal is giving you the opportunity to see and hear about its services live at a free online seminar. Take a look at the Trend Signal website for the latest events and to book your free place.